In the equity market, time is on your side. Why and what you have to do for that, we'll have a look. I guess you're all aware, and we have a special video on this, why equity markets in the long term have a rising trend. This has some important implications. If you are broadly invested in the equity market, so you're not betting on 2-3 stocks, which could also go bust, but you're invested in a broad equity market, you still have no guarantee that you have a significantly negative investment result on the short-term horizon. Just have a look. In this chart, you see the performance of a broad global equity index, how the value of this index has gone up or down over time. And if you pick the worst possible timing, you invested right before the global financial crisis in 2008, of course, you saw a massive slump in your equity portfolio. And this is what you see in the slide. First arrow to the down. So what you all know, in the short term, you can, even broadly invested, have bad luck and see your equity wealth decline significantly over a year, 2 years, 3 years. If in this period you stayed invested longer, you made up for it, but still you had an equity market portfolio that went sideways over many years. Second arrow. And of course, if you had the stamina to stay invested longer, you saw equity markets climb back to new highs. So in the long term, the rising equity market trend that at least we saw over the last 50 years is on your side. But what does for the long term mean? How long is long term? How long did you have to stay invested? Well, for the last 50 years, it's quite easy to do the math. We did it here. What we have here in this chart is quite dense. For the last 50 years, global equity market portfolio, what were all the possible performance ranges you could have? Just an example, the first area, for all possible years that you could have been invested over the last 50 years, so 1970, 1971, and so on, you see here the possible returns that you made. In your worst year, you would have made minus 40%, global financial crisis. In the best 1 year period, you would have made plus 70%, the recovery after a bear market. And on average, you made roughly 10%, but with a huge variety of outcomes. So that's just the figures of what we all know. On a 1 year term, you cannot say how much money you will make even with a broad diversified equity market portfolio. It can be massively in the plus, massively in the minus. But, and that's the aesthetics of this chart here, the longer you stay invested, the narrower, the closer all these possible returns go towards the long-term mean. What it means is, look at the 5-year period, all possible 5-year periods you could have been invested in the last 50 years. In the worst 5-year period, you had an historical return of minus 4%, significantly better than the worst 1 year performance. And of course, also the best case then goes down. Your best 5-year period would have returned 24%. The longer your investment horizon, the less probable it is to have a negative investment result over this time period. For the last 50 years, it was around 15 years that the probability of a negative return over the whole 15 years went down to 0. So historically, you had only positive returns, no matter when you started investing, if you stayed invested for 15 years or longer. So what do we take from this? Well, time is on your side. At least over the last 50 years, it showed if you are broadly diversified invested, even in such a volatile thing as the global equity market, you will have setbacks in between, but equity markets recover and you can make up for it if you just keep your nerves and stay invested. In this case, all the best. We wish you luck. Don't forget to ring the bell, hit subscribe, and see you next time.